Guten Tag, good afternoon. My name is Ulrike Bavendiek. I am a senior lecturer at the University of Liverpool and I teach German language and linguistics. Welcome to our taster session German. Willkommen zu unserer taster session Deutsch. German has the highest number of first language speakers in the EU, with approximately 100 million speakers who speak German as their first language, so they are often called native speakers. So Germany is spoken, as you can see here on the flag, in Austria, Germany, and a large majority of speakers in Switzerland, but also in Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, and Belgium as official languages. And then there are German-speaking minorities all over the world. Germany is also one of the biggest countries in the EU, and it shares borders with 9 different countries with very different very different cultures and languages. So, German cultures. I would argue that German is not one culture, but German has many different cultures. And we have a photo here of the Oktoberfest, which I'm sure you all have heard of. So when you meet a German, usually they will introduce themselves. And once they said they are German, they will specify which part of Germany they are from. So it makes a big difference for us whether we are from the very north or near Denmark and the Netherlands and Poland in the east, or whether we are from Bavaria, which of course is very close to Austria, Switzerland. Whether we are from a city, here we have a picture of Berlin, yeah, but you also know Hamburg and Munich and Cologne and so on, or whether we are from the countryside. So many different cultures with their very specific traditions and celebrations, like the Oktoberfest here or Carnival in the more western parts of the country. Lots of reasons to study German. But German is difficult. Deutsch ist schwer. Or is German difficult? I would like to argue that German really isn't as difficult as it is sometimes made out to be. In fact, it is one of the easier languages to learn if you already speak English. Let's start with pronunciation. German is not difficult. First of all, we share an alphabet. And here on the right-hand side, you can see the way that Germans pronounce the alphabet. So it would go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and so on. Yeah? The individual letters sound very much like English. There are a few exceptions, but they are minor. A few things that a German learner has to learn or has to remember are very easily summarized. So we have our umlaut. Umlaute are ä, ö, and ü. Ä, ö, ü. You can repeat after me if you want. It's really not that difficult. Ä, ö, ü. And then we have one more special character, which looks a bit weird maybe. We call it SZ, but the pronunciation is very easy. It's a sharp S. Yeah? S. Okay. We share an alphabet, but there is one very important difference between German and English, and that is the fact that German is transparent. A transparent language. What does that mean? It means that from the way a word is spelled in German, you can make a pretty good guess as to how it will be pronounced, and vice versa. Once you know how a word is pronounced, you are usually quite okay with spelling it. So a German child who knows a word has not too much trouble spelling that word. And for the German learner, it means if you see a word, once you see a word, even if it's for the first time in writing, then you can actually just read it out and you will probably be fine. So German is transparent. There are a few things that a German learner has to learn, has to remember. For example, I and E in German is a long I, like in studieren. Yeah, studieren. Compare that to E and I, which is actually pronounced I, mein. Studieren and mein. And then there is one sound that is a bit unusual for speakers of English or of many other languages, and that is the sound h or h. Yeah, but it's not difficult to pronounce. It's just something you need to get used to. It's a bit like the in English for most speakers and in many other languages. So that sound is h, and I give you an example. Ich, me, I, and ach. Yeah, ich and ach. And now you already know three German words. Studieren, to study. Mein, my. Ich, I. And ach is an exclamation like oh. Okay, so German, we said, is transparent. You can look through it like through a clean window where you can see from the spelling what the pronunciation will be like. Compare that to English. English is not transparent or not as transparent as German. Of course it is a bit. You have the alphabet, but it is not as transparent as Germany. It is more as German, sorry. It is more opaque. And to illustrate that, I have an example here, a poem called Chaos, for a reason. When we look at this here, right at the beginning, I take it you already know of tough and cough and dough. Now you see that I, as a non-native speaker, have real problems here because I have never encountered the word bow or boff or bop. I don't know how to pronounce it because I don't know the word. Because you can see that tough and dough are actually have very different pronunciations, although they have the same spelling. And that for a learner of English is very confusing and also quite difficult to learn. There's nothing like that in German. German is much easier when it comes to that. So, are you ready to start with some German words? I have some international words here, and I suggest that you just repeat after me. Just repeat after me, just read them out, and you will be fine, I can assure you. So, let's start. Universität. Universität. Studieren. Studieren. Bibliothek. Bibliothek. Deutsch. Deutsch. Chemie. Chemie. Motivation. Motivation. So, with a little bit of motivation, mit ein bisschen Motivation, there's no problem. ist das alles kein Problem. Kein Problem. Shall we start or try reading some sentences now? Again, you can repeat after me. Die Studenten lernen in der Bibliothek Deutsch. Die Studenten lernen in der Bibliothek Deutsch. Can you guess what that means? Yes, of course. The students are studying German in the library. And you see how related our languages are, how similar many, many words are. Let's try another sentence. Sie studiert Deutsch an der Universität in Berlin. Sie studiert Deutsch an der Universität in Berlin. What do you think that means? I think you're right. She studies German at the university in Berlin. So that's easy, isn't it? But what about the long, long words in German that I think you may have heard of? Long words, lange Wörter. So German words can be really, really long. For a beginner, sometimes they look like they will never end. They just go on and on and on and on. And they can be really scary. But now you know that actually they're not that scary. Reading a word like that is a bit like diving in a pool. You take a deep breath, you dive in, and you keep going and going and going and going till you reach the end. So, shall we try? Kraftfahrzeugmechaniker Meisterzertifikat. Kraftfahrzeugmechaniker Meisterzertifikat. Kraftfahrzeugmechaniker Meisterzertifikat. Kraftfahrzeugmechaniker Meisterzertifikat. Okay, and although these words look monstrous, actually they are a learner's best friend because they make vocabulary learning. I know it doesn't look like this, but they make it very easy because you can split this monster up into many, many words that you probably already know, and then you know what it means. So in German, we take the parts of the language that we already know and just stick them together. It looks a bit scary, but really it isn't. It's much easier to remember than just a random string of new sounds or letters. Okay, so thank you very much. Vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen oder tschüss.